everyone, I have a mixed media process to share with you today with the Thompson's Craft Supplies design team. This is my first project with June's kit. I will of course link the kit share video if you haven't seen it already. But for my first project I really wanted to alter this tag that comes in the kit, like MDF, quite a big one. Usually I tend to start off with the scrapbook layout with the kits, but I just felt the need to create something with this tag. So I'm starting off by gessoing it at first, and my screen has frozen. I can't see what I'm doing. Hang on a second. Right, let's just try that again, shall we? I think my computer was just having a moment. Anyways, yes, I gessoed it first. I did 2 layers of just normal white gesso, and then I'm using the stencil from the kit and some Prima paper texture paste to stencil these shapes on there. Originally I just wanted that mandala shape in the centre, but then the way I stenciled it, part of that border from the bottom of the stencil went on the tag, and I thought that actually looked quite nice, so I thought I'd have that up the top as well. Obviously drying the texture paste in between stencil layering, because you don't want to squish what you've just stenciled. And then when that was dry, paper texture paste does take a little while to dry, so I had the heat tool on that for a while. But yes, once that was dry, I'm going in with the paint that comes in this kit. This is the Fabrica Decoru Shabby Velour paint, the colour of which has escaped me, but as you can see it's kind of like this lilac-y pink. It reminds me a lot of the Victorian Velvet Distress colour. It's like that kind of thing, but it dries with this shabby texture. It's really hard to explain. Hopefully you can kind of see it, but yes, I just went over with that, and then when it was dry I found a couple of patchy areas, so I'm just touching those up there. And where I'm going over the stenciling, I'm stippling my brush, because just to get in between all those little stencily spots there. Then when that second layer was dry, I am taking a Casercraft stamp. This is the Blossom one, I think that's its name, and I'm just doing some light stamping in the background with some StazOn ink in Stone Grey, because that won't react with any other mediums that I use on here. But yes, I'm not using a stamping platform or a stamping block, because obviously there's already texture on this tag, and if I used a block or whatever, it actually would not stamp very well. So I'm just using the stamp itself and sort of bending it into place to get some stamped images. They are a bit messy, but they're very much a background thing, so it doesn't matter. Here I am taking some Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Wax, I believe that is the colour New Gold, and just going over some of the stenciled areas to highlight them, and I think I go around the whole edge of the tag itself, just so you know there's something nice going on the edge. I don't like looking at a project like this and then you turn it to the side and you can just see like white or brown of the MDF or something, so I always try and make sure I do something around the edge. If you're wondering why I'm putting wax onto my mat first, it's just, the reason is my nails. Quite frankly, because it's a little pot, I can't put my finger in there and move it around because of the length of my nails, so I have to scoop some out, put it on my mat, and then get it onto my finger. Yeah, the nails are a problem sometimes in crafting, but more often than not, they're actually helpful. Anyways, here I've chosen some more little wooden pieces from the kit to use on this tag. I really wanted to use this butterfly, and then a couple of the little cogs and gears and things. I'm going to gesso these before I put them down. The reason that gessoed butterfly is slightly pink is because I'm using the same brush that I'd used with the paint and I hadn't washed it in between, but that doesn't really matter. So yes, doing a layer of gesso on all of those first, and then I'm going to go back with that Shabby Velour paint and paint those all the same colour that the tag is, just so it's all uniform and ready to go. The reason I'm doing the painting before I stick them on is just it's a lot easier to get into the edges of the piece when you can pick it up like that. It's not so easy when it's put down onto your main tag or piece or whatever you're altering, because then you're going to get bits on the back of the tag and things. It depends what you're doing, of course, like what kind of style you're going for, but that's what I decided to do this time because that's how I needed to do it. Anyways, I am sticking those down with the Prima 3D Gloss Gel, sticking that butterfly right down in the middle with its wings sticking out, and then just adding the little cogs and bits and pieces at the bottom. I had the 2 big ones at the bottom right, and then the 2 little ones at the top left, I think. Are they going down? Yeah. I don't even know if those are pieces you are quote unquote supposed to use, but I thought I'd use them anyway, those tiny little circles. And then I am going to take some more of the gloss gel and just add some splotches of it in various places, mostly on the right side. So it was at this point I kind of decided I was going to do a two-sided tag, because the butterfly has the steampunk side and then the pretty butterfly side. I thought I'd work with that and do one side of the tag more steampunky grungy and then the other side more pretty. So just adding gloss gel there, and I'm going to add some art stones. These are the Imagination Crafts artsy stones in the size small, I think, and just pouring those over where I have put the gloss gel. Artsy stones, or art stones, the Prima ones, they're going to get everywhere. You have to just accept the fact that when you use them, you will find them for days afterwards, but there are things you can do to minimise that. So you can see I've got a little tray here. That was just the packaging for some item, I don't remember what. And yeah, you just kind of treat it like you would glitter, in that you need to kind of catch it all and knock some of it off, to pour it back into the thing, you know, but think it's glitter that can roll away. So just, yeah, I get annoyed when I find them everywhere, but I've kind of come to accept the fact that I will. Anyway, I left that overnight to dry, and then I am just finishing off by knocking off any more loose stones, and then also just sort of brushing over the area with my finger to pick up any of the loose ones, then painting over those again with that shabby velour paint. Very much use a brush that you don't care about for this, because it is going to pick up some more of those stones as you brush over it. Some more loose ones are going to kind of sort of kick up. So yes, that's what I'm using. Do you remember those little brushes, those little plastic ones? They used to come with like kids paint sets. I don't know where this came from, because I don't believe I have any kids paint sets anymore. I just found it in my paintbrush pot. But anyways, nice little happy childhood memory of using those with those kind of naff paint sets, but we loved them. Then I'm going to dry all that. You just see I am multitasking, drying with the heat tool and drinking my cup of tea at the same time. And then when that is dry, I am doing some very close-up spraying over some areas just to add some more colour depth and definition. This is the Distress Oxide Spray in Victorian Velvet. It's brand new, so I was having some trouble with it there. Like every time I sprayed it, it needed like 10 pumps to get through. But anyways, then dried that. Then I'm adding some Dilution spray in, wrote it down, Rose Quartz, again just to add a different layer of colour definition and things, and kind of add to the slightly pretty girly element as well. Here I'm adding some more wax. This is the Prima Metalliques wax in Aged Brass, and I'm just going to add that mostly on that right side, you know, my steampunky grungy side. So that's going on like the cogs and the gears, and the butterfly side that has all the cogs and the gears. I'm also going to go over a lot of the art stone areas with that, because I find putting a wax or something over art stones like really enhances them, like really defines them, really enhances all that texture and stuff. The only thing is it's quite exfoliating using your fingers on all those art stones. Like after a while you're kind of going, this is starting to hurt a little bit. So anyway, yeah, be careful. Here, this is Inca Gold, and this is also called Rose Quartz. Totally different product and totally different brand, but also called Rose Quartz. And I'm using this to highlight the sort of the pretty area of the butterflies and some of the areas on that side. I am balancing it out, like adding a little bit of that colour on the grungy side, but mostly it goes on the pretty side. And then what am I doing here? Just wanted to add some tiny words and things, so chose 3, I think, little words from the Tim Holtz. I can't remember what that pack is called. It's like the Big Chat or something like that. But I went around the edges of each of those words with Distress Oxide in Worn Lipstick, then just pop those down with the gloss gel. And then here I am going through my stash of flowers to add some to the pretty side. I don't really like calling it the pretty side, because I'm not saying the other side isn't pretty, but just for want of a better word, we'll say. Yes, went through my stash, found those 2, definitely from a previous kit. This little flower, that sort of pink with the darker pink in the middle, also from a previous kit. These pink flowers I'm putting down were, and the little pink flower as well, they were a gift, so sort of a mix of things there from my stash. And then, yeah, again, popping those down with the gloss gel, so they will definitely stay there forever and ever. And then gonna add some splatters just to add a little more colour and things to the flowers, make them look a little less matte, make them look a little more natural. Again, went back to the Distress Oxide spray in Victorian Velvet, adding some splatters of white here with Distress Spray Stain in Picket Fence, and then I'm just going to finish off with some Nouveau drops. These ones here are the vintage drops in Dusty Rose, and I'm putting those on the steampunky grungy side, and then using the jewel drops in Rose Water on the butterfly floral side as well. They do mix a bit in the middle, but very much kind of matte on one side, shiny on the other side, I suppose you could call it. And there we go, it is finished. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Chat to me in the comments, ask any questions you may have about mixed media or anything like that. Links to the kit and other Thompson's craft supplies links will be in the description, as well as all the other products I have used in this video. And yep, that's it, I'm finished. Thank you so much again. Bye bye.